Hey, Undisputed listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com now. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jenny.
I'm glad I have Andy Dalton as my quarterback instead of that guy in Philadelphia. Good luck with him.
Good luck with your guy.
Yeah,
it's not like you make it seem like you got Patrick Mahomes.
I'll take Garrett Gilbert over Wentz.
Okay, well, put it behind that offense. I don't want to hear anything else about offensive lines.
Yeah.
Let's not do that, okay?
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to get to that, all the wincing going on over there, because the Seahawks, well, they did beat the Eagles 23-17 in a game. Seattle really dominated for most of the night. The Seahawks defense sacked Carson Wentz 6 times and held Philly to under 300 yards of total offense. And after all the rumors that we'd be seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts last night, the backup quarterback only ended up recording 2 official snaps as Philly once again rolled with Wentz. But Wentz did have 2 touchdowns. He also threw a costly interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter. So, Shannon, is it time, and I know this is your guy, but is it time to bench Carson Wentz?
No, it's not time yet. And I think the thing is that everybody saw that last night. His receivers, they can't separate. His offensive line can't protect him. Doug Peterson refused to run the football, Skip. He's just like, forget it. I mean, I don't get this, Skip. They got it 1st and 5. I just want someone to explain, and I tweeted this. You have it 1st and 5, and you throw the ball 3 straight times. You don't need to say, okay, well, Sanders, you're averaging 5 yards a carry. Let me give you one of these cracks at it. No. And then when he's backed up, he runs it 3 straight times. Like, the defense doesn't know. If you throw it 3 straight times and you're at the 25, what do I think you're going to do if you're backed up now and you're inside your 10? You're going to run it. Skip, I mean, I'm watching this, and it's just pathetic. And I'm not going to excuse Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz needs to play better. Skip, and because he's been hit so many times, he's so gun-shy. He goes to the line, he says, I'm throwing the ball here. Because of that last interception that he threw to trying to hit Dallas Goedert, and it was on the wrong page, if that's the West, they're still running like I run it. I think he had Y choice or Y option. If the guy's on the inside, you break out. If the guy's on the outside, you break in. But for whatever reason, they got the wires crossed. Get Richard Rodgers riding right in front of him. He's on the inside, on the left, coming across. He's right in his window. If he just raises up, throw it to him, he gets the first down. Look at this. Richard Rodgers is right there in front of him. But because he's so gun-shy, he's already made his mind up, because I'm going to get hit in the back of my head. And he throws the ball, he throws an interception. Skip, look, Jalen Hurts might turn out to be a fine young quarterback, but clearly they have what he's shown them in practice is not enough for them to go to him right now. Because if it was, considering how bad they're playing, they say, well, he can give us a spark. But they haven't done that. There's a difference between the NFL and Big 12 football. CeeDee Lamb is not going to be running 12 yards wide open in the NFL. And that's what we're seeing. Skip, they're a bad football team. And they're trying to, everybody in the division, with the exception of Washington, is trying to give the division to Dallas. Because you see the Giants, Skip, their quarterback, they're winning like 2 or 3 games in a row, and their quarterback pull his hamstring. The Eagles can't get out of their own way, and the defense played okay. But how about give Darius Slay some help? It's okay. I understand you paid him a ton of money. You traded for him, Skip, but he needed help on DK Metcalf last night. And there's no shame in that. Sometimes the guy has it going. You don't have it that night. And if you look at his stats, Skip, he's giving up above the league average in man-to-man coverage. So clearly, DK Metcalf is one of the better receivers. You needed some help. But back to our original premise, should they go to Jalen Hurts instead of leaving Carson in? I don't believe they should, because this offensive skill, think about it. Jason Peters is trying to play offensive line with a broken toe. Now, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this. Jonathan Ogden retired, one of the premier left tackles in all of football, because of a toe. Jack Lambert retired because of a toe. As Deion Sanders, what his career happened because time told me to say, Sharpe, a ballerina can't do her thing with a bum toe. And you got a guy trying to play offensive line with a dislocated toe, Skip. They moved him from left tackle to guard, and if you look at him, Skip, he was chasing a guy. I thought he was playing defensive line the way he was chasing the guy behind him. I was like, bro, you supposed to stay in front of them, not chase behind them after they get past you. Skip, this is just a terrible situation, but I tell you what, if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, ain't no way I'm letting Carson Wentz go out that door and Doug Peterson's not right behind him. That will not happen.
Okay. You finished?
I'm finished.
You did a very nice job of attempting to defend a man who's become indefensible. Shannon, you hitched your bandwagon to the wrong falling star. He's just not very good. On this one, I have been right from the very beginning, and you have been wrong. You had one hot stretch in 2017. Then he got hurt, career-threatening sort of knee injury, and I don't think he's ever been the same since then. And what happened? That team was so loaded, it was so talented, it was so hot, that a quarterback for whom you have no respect, named Nick Foles, took that team over and took off and played two of the greatest playoff games back-to-back I have ever seen, in the NFC Championship game against Minnesota at Philadelphia, and then against Bill Belichick's vaunted defense in the Super Bowl, in which Nick Foles, with that offense, and Doug Peterson, who wrote a book about it called Fearless, I'm Fearless, he hung 41 points on Belichick's defense as Tom Brady threw for a playoff record 505 yards, and that wasn't enough because 33 were not enough to overcome the 41 that Nick Foles hung on Bill Belichick.
So you feel very comfortable saying that's the exact same offense, those are the exact same players that won that Super Bowl?
Obviously not now.
Okay,
but again, that's what made Carson Wentz. That's what gave everybody hope about Carson Wentz, and he is what I said he was from the beginning. He is proverbial North Dakota deer in headlights. He is proverbial, I'm lost, I can't see, I go blind under pressure, I don't have poise, I don't have command, I don't have touch. The best thing he does now is he just takes off and runs. And he's a big old boy. And when he gets unwound and rolling, we saw that he actually had two drives in the game, one late in the first half, one early in the third quarter. And the first drive started with a 23-yard scramble right up the middle on, what was it, like 2nd and 16. And it got him a first down because once he starts to lumber, he will just take people on and run over people. I don't see the ability, the poise to play the position the way it needs to be played. And once it goes bad, it goes worse because it's such a hard position to play that the poor kid has lost all his faith. He's lost his confidence in himself. I think the team is losing confidence in him. And I've told you, my worst nightmare as a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan would be for Jalen Hurts to be given this job. I would, if I were running the Eagles, I would hand it to him right now. Jalen Hurts has winner written all over him. He has high intangibles that Carson Wentz was not born with.
Hold on. The same winner that you said, Tua took that team and won the national championship. Remember, Jalen Hurts got pulled in the national title game. And then he couldn't beat out Tua in spring training. This great winner.
And then he came back and saved Tua's bacon and Nick Saban's bacon against Georgia in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship game. He won it 14-0.
Was Tua hurt?
Well, he did get hurt, but he was playing miserable. What was he, like 5 of 17
The man had just had tightrope surgery like 3 weeks earlier. You know that. Come on, Skip.
All I know is that he came into Oklahoma and took what was mediocre talent to me. He did have CeeDee Lamb, and that's all he had. It was CD or bust, and they were triple covering CeeDee Lamb on every play. They had a horrendous defense. Not this year. We're talking about last year. This year, it's the best they've had in 10 years. But last year, he lifted a team that didn't deserve to be in the finals, obviously the semifinals, and he lifted them all the way there because he just makes plays. He just ignites a team. He's got football character, football backbone. He's a playmaker. And he got in for 2 plays last night after we were told that he split snaps with Carson Wentz in practice. When I saw what happened last night, I felt sorry for Carson Wentz. How dare you, Doug Peterson, take Carson Wentz when he's on the precipice of losing his job and make him, it was written, it was 50-50. So you have to go 50-50 snaps getting ready for Seattle? Really?
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Okay, they split the snaps 50-50. How did Jalen Hurts look in those snaps?
Well, I don't know, but he got 2 last night, and he'd been averaging 3 a game.
Well, that should tell you.
He got his first snap of the year of his pro career without Carson Wentz on the field, and then Carson Wentz came back on the field and played receiver.
Yeah, they got a penalty or something.
They got a 5-yard penalty.
They got wiped out.
All right, I got it. So here's my problem with what happened last night to Carson Wentz. If you look hard at what you were up against, that defense of Seattle's came in giving up 435 yards a game. You realize that ranked dead last in the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you realize
third worst ever?
That Seattle's pass defense was allowing 344 yards passing a game, by far the worst in the National Football League. So degree of difficulty for Carson Wentz to hang on to his job at home on a big Monday night game was pretty, the degree of difficulty was low because you can't ask for more appropriate, like
easier opponent.
You could just take advantage. Surely you could.
They're just what the doctor ordered.
Yes.
If you have a deep Skip, let that sink in for just a second, Skip. You tell me that they're averaging giving up 435. They average giving up 344. In that offense, take out the last drive. Skip that little Hail Mary. Take that out. That's 75 yards.
Okay, that was 33-yard Hail Mary at the end to Richard Rodgers, who once made Aaron Rodgers look really good on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that padded his stats to get him over 200 yards passing.
Thank you. So let that sink in. Up until that point, they're under 200 yards against arguably the worst pass defense in NFL history, and on pace to be the 3rd worst defense as far as yardage given up in NFL history. And all you could get was 215, and it took a 33-yard Hail Mary to get you there. Skip, that don't tell you nothing?
Well, it tells me he should be benched.
Skip, what about Skip? Hold on. Carson Wentz is on pace to be sacked the 3rd most in NFL history. He gets sacked 4.2 times a game. And you talk about
6 times last night.
Yeah,
6 more times he's running away with the sack lead, and that has. I'll give you 50-50. I'll put 50% on the decimated offensive line, and I'll put 50% on Carson Wentz because he just stands back there and goes blind.
Skip.
I'm looking. And remember, he got used to trying to throw home runs to Deshaun or Aguilar or whoever it was in the good old days, right?
Skip. Who is he supposed to throw the ball to? But you know what? This is what I love about you. So you saying Brady played great. What if I told the people at home that Brady had a 60 QBR and Carson Wentz had a 57 last night?
Okay, so what's your point?
So how great was Brady if he only had 3 points better than Carson Wentz, and you said the man trash? So what would with that offensive line? What would Tom Brady look like with those receivers and that offensive line?
He would not be getting sacked 6 times a game because he'd get rid of the football. He doesn't take sacks.
Yeah, exactly. But Skip, getting rid of the football, Carson Wentz could throw it away, but I thought the objective was to complete the pass. I thought the objective for the receivers were to get open. Skip, Jim, can we pull that clip? I want to show him the clip. He gets sacked, Skip, this is basically, I think, like a 3-step drop. Look at this. Now, this is a 5-step drop here. And I want you, we're gonna show you the end zone copy. And I want you to tell me, where does Carson Wentz supposed to throw this ball? Freeze it. Where is he supposed to throw the ball? Tell me who he's supposed to throw the ball to, Skip. Go ahead. I ain't gonna say no more.
I like this lower receiver here. He's got 5 yards of separation. How do you?
Where?
I think it's wide open right here at the bottom of the picture.
Skip, if he throws that ball, that's gonna go to the house.
It is not.
Skip, you see
With
the
his
DB?
arm?
Skip,
Look left. Look left. You got 5 yards of separation.
Lord have
hit
mercy.
him. Come up and stand up and hit him. You got to go 1, 2, 3, go. It's called the West Coast offense. Read. He is blind. He stands back there like Lil Abner. I can't find anybody. And he's lost all faith in himself. The team has lost all faith in him. I promise. What did Jalen Hurts do in his one throw? Just a real quick 6-yard out to Alshon, who dropped his first one because he has no faith in Carson Wentz anymore. Boom. So I'm happy. And I get what's happening here. Let's look at the bigger picture. Why will the Eagles wake up this morning and say, God, I guess we got to go with them again? Because they're only a game out of first place in the NFC least. My Dallas Cowboys wake up this morning and say, wait a second, we still have a great shot of winning this division because what just happened?
Skip.
Daniel Jones just pulled his hamstring. They said it's a strain, but he's going to miss a couple of games.
Exactly.
Okay?
Skip. Even if the Eagles had won, the Cowboys were still in it. This division is terrible. Nothing would have changed had the Eagles won this game. Only thing would have changed is that we probably wouldn't have lead by asking should Carson Wentz still have his job. That was the only thing that's changed in this division. This division is terrible.
So if we look at remaining schedules based on one-loss records, what do we see? Dallas plays the 4th easiest remaining schedule based on just one-loss records.
Yeah.
And then we look at the Giants. You picked the Giants at the end of last week to be in the driver's seat right now, and they are because they have the tiebreaker over the Washington Redskins, so they are technically in first place because they beat Washington twice.
Yes.
They have now the 4th hardest schedule remaining. The Giants do with Colt McCoy at quarterback for 2 more games. Good luck with that. And the 20th, quote-unquote, easiest schedule belongs to the Eagles, and the 23rd easiest schedule, or close to hardest, is the Washington football team. Okay? So all of a sudden, it would look like, wait a second, maybe Dallas has a really good shot. I hate it because I'm torn between, do I want a high draft pick or do I want a home playoff game?
Skip,
All right?
you do realize that people are looking at their schedule and seeing Dallas on it and saying, you know what, that's a win for us. While you're looking at the schedule and looking at who they're playing, say, oh, that's easy. What do you think they're doing looking at the Cowboys?
Okay, good luck with that. I agree.
What you mean good luck, Skip?
Okay, but
y'all won 3 games.
Look what the Cowboys have left. They get the pathetic Eagles. You say they're a bad football team. They get them at Jerry World, right?
Skip, y'all pathetic.
Okay, well, are we?
What am I missing?
Are we pathetic?
Yes, you won 3 games.
We came back and had we were down, it should have been 20-all going to the 4th quarter against Washington.
Skip.
And we ran the dumbest fake punt in the history of fake punts. Down 20-16 early in the 4th quarter.
You lost the game.
Okay.
You won 3 games.
You know what? We've played pretty well for the last 4 games, actually.
And how many of those games have you won?
And by the way, we lost Zach Martin and Cam Irving in the first drive. We lost them for the rest of the year.
But hold on. This man is playing without 3 starters in his offensive line, and you say he's deer in headlight. Now you're talking about Zach Martin.
Does he have a center? He's got one of the best centers in pro football.
Oh, my goodness.
Am I right?
Did you see him snap the ball 15 yards over his head?
I saw Wentz butterfinger. Well, I did, as
come
usual.
On, Skip,
Yeah.
come on now.
Hey,
Skip, now you saw that.
You got to give it up on Carson. Are you ready to say I was wrong?
Let me ask you a question.
Are you ready to say I'm wrong?
I want to ask you
No,
this.
I just asked you a question.
No.
You're going to answer with the question because you don't have an answer.
No, because I want you to tell me what has Dak Prescott done that Carson Wentz hasn't.
I'm glad you brought up Dak Prescott because what he's done is he actually won a playoff game against Russell Wilson.
Wow.
He won a playoff game.
Wow.
Here's the biggest problem with Carson Wentz right now for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I hurt for him. I hate the Eagles. Do you realize that Carson Wentz has played a moment of one playoff game? He lasted like a minute.
Yeah.
And in that minute, he completed 1 pass for 4 yards. That's all he's got to his resume for the whole playoffs. What are we into now? We're up to the 5th year?
Yes.
And that's all he's got. And trust me, Jerry Jones is sitting back today, stroking his chin, saying, you know what?
Is that
I'm looking at that guy in Philadelphia, and I'm looking at that guy in Los Angeles that you said, they gave them the money because they deserve their money. You got to pay Jared Goff. You got to pay Carson Wentz.
You gonna pay that?
So they just paid both of them. And what? I mean, they've already paid both of them. And what is it? What do they got to show for it? We got Sean McVay going Doug Peterson in L.A. right now saying, I don't think I was going to pull him, but maybe I was thinking, but then I didn't think about it. He was wishy-washy at best. He was evasive. He thought about pulling, obviously, Jared Goff at Miami when he turned it over 4 times in the first half, and against San Francisco when they blew their 4th straight game to the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, help me understand this, because the way you talk about Dak Prescott is that if you're talking about Prescott is Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, and Carson Wentz is Mitchell Trubisky.
No, he's just way better than Carson Wentz, and I told you that from the start. He's way better.
Where are your Super Bowls?
Way better.
Where are your NFC Championship games?
My guy's actually played in 3 playoff games and
how
played
many has
really
he
well.
won?
Played really well.
How many has he
He's
won?
won 1 out of 3.
Then.
And how many has Carson Wentz played
He's
in?
0 for 1.
Oh, so he's not even 0 for 1. He's just 0 for none. He lasted 30 seconds and threw 1 pass.
But the loss is on his resume because he started. So this notion that Dak Prescott is having a Mahomes or Deshaun Watson type career.
Well, I've told you that all along. He's not in their category.
So what you hyping him for?
I'm not hyping him. I'm just saying I'm glad I got him. I'm glad I've got Andy Dalton. I'm glad I got Garrett Gilbert. Your guy is a disaster.
Okay, you got
to say, I give up. You give it to him when you got to give it up.
You got them in your won 3 games. You had Dak last year, and you missed the playoffs. Carson Wentz won the division. So what did that say about your guy?
What it said about Carson Wentz last year was he got to beat the Giants twice.
In the same division.
Washington once, and what was left of my Cowboys at home, those were his 4 wins.
Skip.
Oh, he saved the day.
Skip, let me ask you a question.
Against trash.
Skip, let me ask you a question. Did the Dallas Cowboys play the Giants?
Sure.
Okay, did y'all play Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the big deal? If Philadelphia, that's the same division, the NFC East. Carson Wentz beat the teams that you guys played.
Shannon.
So why is it so bad that he beat them and y'all guys did?
You hitched your bandwagon to the wrong guy.
All
He's
I'm
a
saying,
disaster.
Skip, but you talking about like Dak Prescott is about to go win 5 Super Bowls.
No, I didn't say that. I've never said that. I said Jerry should not have paid him $40 million. I said it from the start.
Okay, so what's he going to do now? He's going to end up paying $39 million to keep him.
Yeah, he will.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Difference between 34 and 39 versus 42, 42, 42.
Skip. And guess what? In 2 years, he would have paid Dak $70 million against your cap.
No, well, we'll see what happens next year, and then he'll just say Fisher cut bait.
Okay, then.
Yep.
So,
he needs results.
But guess what? Even if you cut bait, Dak's going to be 27 years old and to be able to hit the market free. Do you believe he gets less or more than 32 million?
Who's in worse salary cap situation right now, Dallas or Philadelphia? You guys, you plunged on a guy you shouldn't have plunged on a dry hole, as Jerry would say.
At the end of the day, Skip, we're in the same situation. They got 3 wins. You got 3 wins.
Yeah, but we're not. We don't have Dak Prescott for life like you do with your guy, because she's going to count against your cap now for 6 more years.
But here's the thing, Skip. You got all that talent. Even though your quarterback went down, you got all those receivers. You got that great deep. You got Zeke and you got Tony Pollard.
You said great defense.
I don't know.
I will take Philly's defense any day or any night over Dallas.
Every time I turn around, all I hear about all that talent on Dallas. That's all I hear about. They're the most talented team. They're the most talented team. So what do they got you, Skip?
Well, I'm here to say Philadelphia's defense might be the best in the division, and they look like it last night. They did a really good job on Russell Wilson. Really good job.
Did you see DK Metcalf have almost 200 yards?
They were all over him. All over him.
Did you see with DK?
Yeah, they had to scratch and claw to get to 23, which is pretty good.
Well, consider it, Skip.
Yeah.
Considering what you're playing against, hell, you could have got to 15, and it'd have been good.
Well, that's all I need to know. So I would, if I were running, I'd go with Jalen Hurts right now, and they would have a real shot at winning this division, because all of a sudden, life would change. They would start to click on offense.
I missed something. All those years I saw Jalen Hurts, I'm not seeing what you see.
Well, did you watch him last year when he had 52 total touchdowns and lifted a mediocre team into the college football playoffs?
What Big 12 quarterback doesn't put up big stats in that conference where they don't play defense?
Well, he got him to a game big game against LSU. He got them all the way to LSU.
The only difference is Oklahoma has more talented guys to play bad defense with. That's not saying anything. I mean, look at that. Look at what they got. So how many teams you think they're gonna have in the college football playoff this year? Look at Texas. Look at your team. Come on, Skip. Oklahoma. How many games have Oklahoma lost already?
They lost too early because they had a brand new quarterback, and he has suddenly figured it out. And right now, I'm here to tell you they're playing some of the best football in this country.
Alabama got a brand new quarterback. Georgia got a brand new quarterback. There are a lot of teams that got a brand new quarterback. This is not unique to Oklahoma. But back to the original premise. Carson Wentz, yes. Skip, he has to play better. There are throws but he's so gun shy that he's predetermining his throws because he don't want to get hit anymore. Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady don't want to get hit anymore, and he predetermined them throws.
So you're saying you'd rather have Carson Wentz right now than Tom Brady?
No. Answer the question. Your guy had a 60. A 60.
Yeah.
Hold on. How you going to have a 60 QBR with Chris Godwin, with Gronk, with Brake, with AB, Mike Evans, Rojo Fournette? How you get a 60 QBR with that?
My guy threw for 369 in 23 minutes time of possession. If you do the math and extrapolate it out to 37 minutes, which Patrick Mahomes had the football, it's 555 yards. It would have been the NFL record.
You're reading too much football, Pro Football Focus.
I got you.
You can't do that, Skip. Because that's like saying, that guy had 50 points, like Klay Thompson. He had 60 points in 29 minutes. If you let him play a full game, he'd have had broke Wilt's record. Stop this. That's foolish.
No, I'm starting it. Obviously, Tom Brady played way better than Carson Wentz.
I can't tell you that's not what the numbers say.
Yeah.
You base everything on Pro Football Focus. The quarterback rating said he didn't.
Well,
the quarterback rating said he did not.
You're using a different stat. No, you're using QBR.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's your Bible.
We're done with Carson Wentz for now. We'll get back to him. No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy. Pro Football Focus named Patrick Mahomes its quarterback of the week after throwing for a season-high 462 passing yards against Tampa, including a mind-boggling 359 in the first half. He also added 28 yards on the ground, 3 critical first-down runs, and connected with Tyreek Hill for 3 touchdowns, including a 75-yard bomb that PFF also named its play of the week. So, Shannon, was this a no-brainer?
I wonder how many hours that crew at Pro Football Focus spent scouring over the tape that says, you know what? I think Patrick Mahomes deserves to be our player of the week. How many hours you think they spent? And this is Skip, he's the best quarterback in the league, and it's not even close. Okay.
That's not the question.
What's the question?
The question is, should he have been the first-team quarterback on their all-weekly team?
Stop, Skip. That's the biggest no-brainer. That's the biggest dumb moment of the week. Like, really? who else could it have been? Let me guess, Tom Brady, because nobody does less with more. Stop it, Skip.
Wait, you want my answer?
No, I don't.
My answer is actually your answer. You told me yesterday Aaron Rodgers delivered a masterpiece.
First of all,
masterpiece against a much better defense, Chicago's defense.
First of all, just because your guy couldn't do anything against that defense doesn't mean it's top notch. Kirk Cousins cut that defense up. So stop this notion.
Well, wait a second. You used QBR in the A block, and wait a second. Aaron Rodgers had a 97. Mahomes had a 91.
What'd your guy have?
I'm sorry, we're talking about this whole idea.
But I thought you didn't ask me. I thought it was my turn to talk.
Well, you threw it back at me.
No, I didn't.
I didn't. I shut the door on you.
Because what happened is that every time your guy gets outplayed, every time Tampa
We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes. And you told me Aaron Rodgers was virtuoso. QBR that you used against me in the Wentz debate, I'm saying, okay, you got me on QBR. Aaron Rodgers was a 97. It was far and away better than his QBR of 91. So, which is it?
Who's the better team, Tampa or Chicago?
What does that matter?
Well, go ahead, Skip. Go ahead. Make your point. Go ahead.
No, go.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
I think
Go
you
ahead.
said all there is to say.
No, I mean, because what you do every time, Tom Brady stinks it up.
We're not talking about Tom Brady.
Every time Tom
Stinks it up and with 369 yards passing and cut it to 27-24 with 4:10 left in the game. Are you kidding me?
So what is
stinks it up?
Let me ask you a question. Is the objective?
What are you talking about?
Is the objective to cut it close or to win the game?
Well, obviously he was in position to win the game. He needed his defense just to get him the ball back.
No, he was in position, but now the defense need to give him the ball back.
Well, doesn't that make sense to you? Yeah, it makes sense to me.
What makes sense to me is that the lens that you and others go through to try to make Tom Brady that there's a not.
This is not about Tom Brady. It's about Patrick Mahomes. It has nothing to do with Tom
Okay,
Brady.
go ahead, Skip.
All right,
you cut me off. You refuse to let me talk. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish. I don't care. I'm good. I got lots to say. I can wait.
Go ahead.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Because all you've done, you started this yesterday when we was trying to talk about it, and all you do is cut me off. Oh, really? That's how it happened.
Well, you
all
asked
do
me
is,
who else.
No, I didn't.
Who else could it have been? You asked
Skip,
me, and I
Skip,
told
Skip,
you it's your guy, Aaron Rodgers.
It's a rhetorical question.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Then I don't know when to talk.
Go ahead. You can take this next segment. I'll be ready to go on the next one. Go ahead.
Okay, so back to Patrick Mahomes. So Pro Football Focus also said that Patrick Mahomes' throw early in the game to Tyreek was the play of the week by far and away the play of the week. And I'm saying, God, I must have been watching the wrong game because I like to see that throw. It's a 75-yard touchdown, and I want somebody, especially the Hall of Famer across from me, to tell me how this was a great play. This is a bad throw. He throws it over the wrong shoulder. Tyreek looks over his inside shoulder and has to turn, do a 180 while backpedaling because he's so far behind Carlton Davis, turn completely back and catch it over the wrong shoulder, the outside shoulder. And that's the play of the week. That's a bad throw. And it was woefully underthrown. And that's the play of the week? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, what did I miss here?
How many guys can throw the ball 62 yards in the air?
Okay, well, I think Josh Allen could have thrown it at least 5 yards farther.
No, how many guys can throw it?
Is that not an underthrow? He has to pull up and backpedal to catch it over the wrong shoulder. That's not the play of the week.
Hold on, Skip. We've seen Tom Brady throw plays like that to Gronk in the end zone, and you say that's perfect throw. Okay. But every time, you try to minimize. Skip, the fact of the matter is, that's the best quarterback in football.
Okay, we're talking about the play of the week.
And he got it.
Tell me, was that it?
Did you
like that? You're smart.
He got it.
You're a Hall of Famer. Tell me that was a great throw.
He got the play
Was that a great throw?
He's the
Help
player
me
of the
out.
week.
I need help here from the Hall of Famer.
No, you don't.
Was that a great throw?
What your eyes tell you?
Okay, he throws it as hard as he can throw it, and he has to pull up and look over the wrong shoulder, backpedal, and catch it over here instead of over his shoulder. Wow.
What was the results?
The results are that was by far and away the play of the week. So let's see the throw that he made in the third quarter to Tyreek for a touchdown, and I'll show you the play of the week. I will give you an A+ on this one. This is a sweet throw right over it goes right over the head of Carlton Davis for a touchdown. Now, that's dropping a dime. That's a much better throw to me than the first one. Much better. Thank you.
Skip.
Game over.
That's like what you're trying to do is that you're nitpicking the situation.
That's not a nitpick. That's blatant.
Okay, take the throw away. You know what? I don't even want the 75-yarder. I don't want anything. Tell me somebody that outplayed Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position this year.
Aaron Rodgers.
That Aaron Rodgers. That's not what you said yesterday.
I did.
That's not what you said yesterday. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I said he was protected. He was completely clean. They never touched him, and he lit them up. He picked them to pieces.
Skip.
And I agree, but I've also seen that same guy against other teams like Tom Brady. What happened when Aaron Rodgers went to Tampa Bay?
We're not talking about Tom Brady and Tampa Bay.
Okay, well, that was my point yesterday.
See?
Right?
Do you see what you do, Skip?
No, I didn't do anything. Let's go back to Patrick Mahomes. I think it's my turn.
He's hit.
My turn, Patrick Mahomes.
Talking.
So here's why Patrick Mahomes was not the quarterback of the week. He shouldn't have made first team because he throws for 359 in the first half, but then when the game started getting tight, he only threw for 103 in the second half. That would have been a total of 206 for the game. That's not very
But
good.
Skip, say what you
Wait,
did.
I'm still talking. I think it's my turn right now. Would you believe that the Buccaneers won the second half of that game 17-7?
Did they win the game?
Wait a second. I'm talking.
Did they win the game?
So would you believe the Buccaneers won the last 3 quarters of that game 24-10?
Did they win the game?
Would you believe that Patrick Mahomes, who was the player of the week, would you believe he went 0 for 3 in the red zone? So he's ready to cash. Touchdowns? No touchdowns. 3 times he went 0 for 3. He was 2 of 6 for 8 total yards in the red zone. Is that good? Is that player of the week?
Did they win the game?
Would you believe it was the first time all year that Patrick Mahomes did not throw a touchdown when entering the red zone? And you're the player of the week?
You
really?
get all those stats you want to at the end of the day.
And by the way, he could have blown it open and blown the game, blown Tampa off its home turf in the third quarter. He had a Mecole Hardman wide open. He could have made it 34-10 with this throw, and he completely swung and missed. It was the worst pass of the day by either quarterback in that game. He missed a wide open touchdown to Mecole Hardman in the third quarter. So is that player of the week to you? Is that better than Aaron Rodgers? Did Aaron Rodgers miss any throws?
Patrick, hold on. You said yesterday, you was talking about the man barely had. Yesterday, you just told me Aaron Jones was the key to this team and that Aaron Rodgers had barely thrown for 200 yards. Now to try to diminish what he.
As you told me, Devontae dropped a touchdown pass, didn't he? Yep.
See,
I got you again. I got you again.
All I'm saying is this. Patrick Mahomes threw for more yards in the first half than Tom Brady threw for the entire game. And you keep talking about, well, he only threw for 103 in the second half. Skip, the man, what about your guy? Your guy threw 2 interceptions in the red zone.
Yeah, and your guy coughed it up in the red zone with first and goal at the 8-yard line. He coughed it up.
Guess what my guy didn't cough up?
Does that count?
Guess what my guy didn't cough up? That W. Your guy coughed that W up. Guess what he came to my restaurant, Skip? Let it go. This guy is head and shoulders above Brady.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about what happened in this game on Sunday.
Did you not watch the game?
Yeah, I think I did. But again, are you saying that was a better game than Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Well, I couldn't see it because I just showed you. No red zone, missed Mecole Hardman, coughed it up first and goal at the 8 when you could have just put the game away. He had 2 chances to put that game completely away, and he did not.
Did he win?
Tom Brady cut it with 2 long fourth-quarter drives, as usual, to cut the score to 27-24 with not 30 seconds left, 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. If Tom Brady had half a defense, and he's got none right now, half a defense. If he had half a defense and they could force 1 stop in the last 4 minutes of the game, which they could not, Tom Brady would have won that game. And you know it, and I know it.
If Tom Brady had more than 18, if Tom Brady would have had more than 18 yards before the game got out of hand, they would have won that game. Had Tom Brady not thrown 2 interceptions in the red zone, they would have won that game. Had Tom Brady not gone 3 and outs, they would have won that game.
If Mike Evans hadn't dropped, well, it hit him right in the hands.
Okay.
This is early in the game on the first drive. If he catches that ball, we're having a very different conversation because they well might have been ahead 7-3 at that point.
Did the ball hit Mecole Hardman in the hands?
Did it hit him in the hands?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
The pass that Patrick Mahomes threw Mecole Hardman, did it hit him in his hands?
No, it was way behind him. He touched it, but it didn't hit him in the hands. Was that an on-target pass? Man, you need better glasses.
Hold on.
Seriously.
So let me get this right.
He just completely airballed
You see what you did, Skip?
I didn't do anything.
Mike Evans drops a ball. Oh, that was a great throw in to change the outcome. But, that ball's behind Mecole Hardman. Come on, Skip.
What do you mean, come on? It's the truth. Well, you just spoke the truth.
The fact of the matter
Both of them, the truth.
Mahomes had the game of the week.
I don't think he did. No, there are all kinds of holes in this game. I just pointed them out.
That's not what
I didn't make them up.
That's not what you said yesterday.
Did I fabricate it? No, I said all this yesterday.
No, you did not.
I did too about Patrick Mahomes.
You said Aaron Jones was the reason they won the game.
I gave Mahomes a B yesterday, and that's what he deserved for this effort.
But Skip,
because, you have to play 4 quarters. It's not just a half game.
Skip. And that's why your argument is flawed, because you gave a guy that won the game that had 462 and 2 touchdowns the same grade as you gave a guy that lost the game and had 2 INTs. So that's how your argument's flawed. That's flawed.
Well, and remember, Mahomes had 2 INTs get canceled by penalties.
Skip.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Skip.
Did it happen?
It wasn't a penalty. Did it happen?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So it did null and void.
Yeah. And one of them did contribute, and one of them didn't contribute. Where you just got a lucky break break on the second one.
You see what you did? Skip?
Lucky break.
Now, when Tom Brady threw that interception in the championship game, because the guy got offsides, you didn't say anything. Oh, that penalty negated an interception. That's not what you did.
Well,
but see, now you want to flip it around.
In overtime, he converted 3 straight 3rd and 10s, which is impossibly great.
So Patrick Mahomes' defense should have been able to get them the ball back, right? It's Patrick Mahomes' defense. You see what you did it again?
I didn't do it again. You're playing the GOAT.
No.
This is when you got all the money pushed to the middle of the table. That's when he's at his greatest.
That's what my guy did. 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and he didn't give him the ball back. But you blame Tampa's defense. But you didn't blame Patrick Mahomes' defense in the championship game on those 3 3rd and 10s. That's not what you did. See, you do it every time. When Tom Brady does something great, that's Brady being great. But let somebody else do it. Tom Brady's defense let him down. I got you again. I knew you'd do it. I knew you would do it. Just like clockwork. Tom Brady is the GOAT. But say right now that he's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Who's had the better career?
See, there you go.
Who has?
No. Hold on. That man is 4 years into a career. I'm talking about right now. Right now, as we sit in these
all I know is I watched Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl throw a late 3rd quarter interception and an early 4th quarter interception.
You watch him win.
And get away with the luckiest punt of a throw to Tyreek I've ever seen.
You see what you do? See? I've never seen anybody find so many faults with someone winning. I didn't talk about career. Is Tom Brady better than Patrick Mahomes right now as we sit here?
I'll give you Patrick Mahomes.
You guys definitely brought the energy today. I'm going to give you another opportunity here. We're going to make our point, we're going to listen, and then we're going to respond, okay? Because we didn't do very well there.
We didn't do very well that year, but that's okay.
A lot of interrupting. How about this next one, though? In his introductory press conference, new Lakers point guard Dennis Schroder told reporters that he plans to start at point guard this season to allow LeBron to play off the ball more. This was a bit of a surprise considering that not only did LeBron lead the league in assists while starting at point guard last season, but that Schroder hadn't even spoken directly to Coach Frank Vogel about the idea. For what it's worth, Schroder did say that his agent outlined the expectation to the Lakers front office before the trade was completed. So, Shannon, what do you think LeBron's reaction was to this?
Rob Pelinka, please tell me you got this under control. Dennis Schroder with LeBron James. Okay, if you don't want to say he's the GOAT, let's just say he's the best player in basketball right now. We'll save the GOAT discussion for another day. The guy led the league in assists last year with over 10. Dennis Schroder comes to this team and says, I want to be the point guard. Skip, it's almost like you, and you'll remember this, Skip. Our young viewers won't remember this. Skip, you remember the assassination attempt on President Reagan? Alexander Haig came out. He's like 15th in the line of succession and says, I am now the president. He bypassed the vice president and everything. Skip, how Dennis Schroder just bypassed LeBron and says, I'm going to be the point guard? Skip, how? Well, LeBron James, let me tell you what LeBron was doing. LeBron was in there. He probably had a nice little wine. He swinging it around. He probably on one of them big old nice sticks. And he hear this. And red wine all over Savannah's nice carpet. He almost choked on some smoke. He probably said, Banner, did you hear what he just said? Skip, what is Schroder talking about? Skip, I get it. If he wanted to say, Skip, I would like to start, I've come off the bench the last couple of years. I've been a starter. I would like to go back into a starting role. Skip, if he says that, I got no problem with that, Skip. But to say, I want to be the starting point guard? Skip, come on. Skip, man, take it away, Skip. I just can't. Skip, I can't. I can't even believe he said that. I can't even believe it.
This was my favorite story in months. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed some more after I read this because I thought it was a farce. I thought it was like he was sarcastic. No, he's not sarcastic. This is for real. And he capped it off by saying that his agent presented these demands to Rob Pelinka before he agreed to sign. So apparently, Rob Pelinka, quote unquote, signed off on his expectations of what his role will be with the Lakers. And he says, I did all that off the bench stuff in OKC. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm here to be a starter. Timeout. You are here to replace not only the best passer in basketball, LeBron James, which I've said 1,000 times on this show, but you're ready to replace the best point guard in basketball, who is 6 feet 9 inch LeBron James. You are, what will we give Schroder? 6'1", maybe something like that.
You being nice.
Okay. So 6'1" is going to replace 6'9" at point guard when he can see over the defense and he can distribute three-point shot passes better than anybody, setup passes better than anybody. So wait, you're going to change the way you won a championship with LeBron at point guard, doing what he should have been doing his whole career. You're suddenly going to switch it up as you're the defending champ, bring in a guy who's never started for any team he's played for, and you're going to play him, you know, ostensibly 82 games. You're going to start him at point guard and let him, as he says, he's going to bring the ball up and set it up and make sure that LeBron gets his shots and his attempts as a wing player off the basketball. Are you serious? You had the brazen, delusional audacity to say this publicly? You said this publicly.
You said it out loud.
With a straight face, I think. I don't think he's kidding.
No.
Because he summed it up with, so that's that. Like it's a done deal. I'm going to be the starter at point guard. Hey, you guys got a huge new problem. And this young man, still young, can be a problem child because he is his own man. And what I love about him is he is afraid of nobody. What I don't love about him, for your sake, is he's afraid of nobody. He's not afraid of LeBron. He's not afraid of Rob Pelinka or Jeannie Buss or Shannon Sharpe or anybody else.
I can see a situation where this is not ending well, and he ends up at the trade deadline. He's a trade deadline guy.
Could be.
Skip, he's ridiculous. Now, he was a starting point guard in Atlanta. How did that work out for them? And they had Dwight Howard, who they ran the pick.
He shared time with Teague, and they were at each other's throat the whole time.
Exactly.
So he's never been a constant, a permanent starter.
The role that Rondo played, Skip, Rondo didn't start with Bron. Rondo was the guy that came off the bench and ran the offense, that could run the offense to give Bron a break. And sometimes they did play together and take LeBron off the ball. But when LeBron was in the game, to start the game, you go like, okay, LeBron is Skip. Can you imagine this? Okay, Schroder is running the offense at the start of the game, and LeBron is off the ball. Can you see a scenario? When has that ever happened? In 17 years, this is LeBron's 18th year. In 17 years, when have you ever seen that, Skip? To start the game. Now, I'm not saying at some point, because he would turn it over to Kyrie. He would turn it over sometime to Rio and D-Wade. But I'm saying to start the game, LeBron has the ball in his hands. And for him, Skip, look, I'm not saying, I got enough confidence in myself. I just believe in myself. I got no problem with his confidence. But if Dennis Schroder thinks he's a better point guard or a better player, Skip, that's not confidence. I mean, there's certain things you just like, you know what? That's just the confidence that I have in myself that, bruh, stop this. And this what, Skip, I tell you, this is what derailed teams, keeps them from repeating. Because you get guys sometimes, when you win a championship and you get guys says, well, I played a bigger role than they actually played. And then you get guys that's coming in, well, they came to get me, so that must be mean. I must be a very important piece. That's the guy's mindset. Bruh.
So in Schroeder's best year in Atlanta, 2018, he did average 19 a game. He can score it.
Yes, he can score.
And he did average 6 assists. Not bad, but your guy just averaged 10 and led the league.
Skip, my guy has never averaged less than 6 assists except his rookie season when he was 5.9. Other than that, he's been 6, 7, 8, 9, and last year 10. So his career year is LeBron's worst year at the point guard position. And LeBron was an 18, 19-year-old. And then you come in and say, you go run the point. You go get AD where he needs to go, get his shot, get him on the point. You go get LeBron. Bro, you coming off the bench. You need to, look, you and Trez in the pick and roll, you and Caruso, y'all will be able to do something. Kuz, Skip. Really? I mean, he go just like derail the ship. At least let the ship get out of, don't sink it at the dock. Skip, we dock right now. And he boring holes in it. We're not going to even get out to the middle of the ocean.
You're docked like the Queen Mary in Long Beach,
right? And he out there boring holes right in the middle of.
So you just added 2 players to your mix, Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell. Montrez was a problem for the Clippers last year, and they are now dismissing him as we got rid of the problem, right?
Yeah.
So you got two new potential problems. So LeBron has his leadership work cut out for him.
Trez is not going to be a problem in that locker room. I can assure you of that. Has the makings of being a problem. For you to, Skip, can you imagine? I mean, they drafted other two. I mean, can you imagine Ron Harper saying, you know what, hey, I'm the two guard now. You know, my job is, you know, hey, I'm the two. Or somebody coming in with...
By the way, Ron Harper, early in his career, before he had a terrible knee injury, he was a stud, man.
Even that he wasn't better than...
But he could have made a case early on. I can play with that guy.
Yes.
Right, but not late.
Let's get... Okay, what case can Schroder make? At what point in time in Schroder's career, Skip, can we arguably say, you know what? I don't know. He might be comparable to LeBron.
Because, by the way, that career year in 2018 in Atlanta, he shot 29% from the three-point line, so Schroder was not a shooter.
Right.
So I don't know what case he could make, any way, shape, or form. I thought it was going to be he and Trez being the Lou Will and Trez of the Lakers coming off the bench as the shock troops. Right?
Yes. So let me ask you a question, Skip. Do you believe Schroder can get LeBron easier shots or LeBron can get Schroder easier shots?
That's the biggest duh question you've ever asked on this show.
Man, Skip, see, they just will not let me enjoy this moment. I'm thinking repeat. And had this joker come in here talk about he wants to be the...
being a joker, I agree.
He wants to be the Skip. Not that, I want to start. If I need to play the two off LeBron, okay, that's fine. This dude says, I want to be the point guard. The point.
No mercy.
Tom Brady struggled against the Chiefs while Aaron Rodgers picked apart the Bears, and social media, well, it took notice. Two-time Super Bowl champ Torrey Smith tweeted that while Brady is the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers is a better player. Another Super Bowl champ, Will Blackman, replied in agreement, posting, "It was way more terrifying playing against Aaron Rodgers. I know I'm not the only player who thinks this." So, Shannon, do they have a point?
They do. And I think the thing is, then it's hard for people to understand, well, how do you say if he's this, then somebody else is that? And I get it, and it's hard to explain, but I'll try to do the best I possibly can. Skip, Brady is the most accomplished player. He has the title. He has the accolades. But I believe because Rodgers can do so much more. See, the thing is, you almost want Rodgers to throw the ball from the pocket because he can roll left, he can roll right, and still throw the ball 30, 40, 50 yards over your head. Brady, you do everything you can to get him off that spot. And if you get him off that spot, you feel, okay, we've got him. Because Brady has never had legs, that's another aspect of his game you don't have to worry about. That's what made Rodgers so deadly. That's what makes Mahomes so deadly. Because now, although he's not Kyler, let's not confuse Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers with Kyler Murray, they're dangerous enough with their legs to pose a problem. So the question that I ask, if Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning would have had Bill Belichick for 20 years, do you think they have less Super Bowls than what Tom Brady has? I don't believe they do. I believe they have equally as many, if not more. Tom Brady, in his 16 years, he started 19 years in New England. 16 of those years, he had a top 10 defense. Rodgers has had a top 10 defense 3 times. Only one time has he had a top 5 defense, they won the Super Bowl. So for me, Skip, Aaron Rodgers has 5 playoff losses in which his team has given up at least 37. Tom Brady has 2 of those games in 41 playoff games. So for me, I know it's hard to like, this guy has all this, but I do believe Aaron Rodgers is a scarier player to defense than Tom Brady because he poses you so many more problems, not only with his arm, being able to throw the ball left, rolling right, but his ability to run. So I agree with what they said, that I believe Aaron Rodgers is a scarier player, a better player, not a more accomplished player, but a better player. But that's only temporary because there's a guy in the Midwest that's coming, and you're probably going to forget both of them.
Oh, he's going to make you forget the guy who's the GOAT. He's going to make you forget a guy who won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. Actually should have won a 7th Super Bowl against Eli when he drove his team 65 yards for a touchdown with 2 minutes left. And Eli drove his team against Belichick's vaunted defense 75 yards. No, I think it was 83 yards for a touchdown to cancel out Brady's game-winning touchdown drive against Eli in the first Super Bowl.
But see, Skip, all you do is take the games that he lost and say he should have won. But what about the Super Bowls that he won that he should have lost? Could he have not lost against the Rams? Could he have not lost against the Panthers?
Well, he didn't.
Okay, then. Yeah. Well, he didn't win.
Okay, but
he
did his job.
No, his job is to win.
2 minutes left.
His job is to win.
He did his job
he
with
did
another
not.
game-winning drive. He threw to Randy Moss for a touchdown to make it 14-10 with 2 minutes left.
He didn't win.
Wow, interesting.
He didn't win.
So let's look at this. This question, it nauseates me. It horrifies me because it is so disrespectful to the GOAT. It is so blasphemous that I truly fear that we're going to get struck by lightning in the studio because we're even talking about this and you're giving it credibility. Yeah. And what I've found in my many years in television working with so many ex-players that a lot of guys play football at a high level, but they don't get football. You get football, but a lot of guys I've dealt with or come into contact with, they were Pro Bowl players, all-stars in basketball, but they don't really get what happened. They just played. It came fairly naturally. They worked hard at it, but they don't see it, feel it, get it. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've seen so many championship teams built in all sports by guys who didn't even play beyond high school. Okay? Mm-hmm. So here we go with Torrey Smith and Will Blackmon, and I certainly respected both of them as players. But remember, Will Blackmon did play for 4 years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, so I'm sure he became a fan of Aaron's, and he did get to play against him in practice, so he's seeing exactly what he's made of. And Torrey Smith was a Raven at heart because he was born a Raven, basically, in this league. And he went 1-2 against Brady in playoff games, but as you know, being a Raven, the Ravens hated New England, hated Tom Brady, and they gave him all that he wanted. Right. They won their fair share against Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. So he was like, quote unquote, the devil for you guys to attack and to try to dethrone New England. Right. So I get that there'd be some animosity that sticks there. And also, Torrey Smith was on that Eagles team that beat Tom Brady when obviously Nick Foles was the MVP for the Eagles, and Nick Foles was, hung up 41 points on Belichick's defense. Okay, so let's just step back and look at this. So Aaron Rodgers is 10-8 in the postseason, and the 10 wins include a wild card road playoff run to the championship. Right. So that 1 year, which was 10 years ago, he won on the road 3 times to get to the Super Bowl. And then in the Super Bowl, obviously it was at Jerry World. So away from the frozen tundra, the hallowed tundra of Lambeau Field, he won 4 games. Those are included in his 10 wins, obviously. And then you look at his since then, he's been 6-7 in the postseason. And those 6 wins since have included a win over the Vikings when they had a receiver named Joe Webb have to start at quarterback, and over my Dallas Cowboys when Dez obviously caught it and they should have won the game, and against Kirk Cousins when he was like 8th Cousins at that point. And then the Giants Odell boat trip game when they came to Lambeau after they had gotten ready for the game, the receivers had down in South Beach. And then the Mason Crossbar game in which Mason Crossbar hit 2 intergalactic field goals to cost my Dallas Cowboys a game that Dak Prescott had thrown them all the way back into. So those are 6 of his 7 wins. He had a good game last year against Russell Wilson at Lambeau, and I'll give you that one. But again, Tom Brady is 30-11 in the postseason. Tom Brady has played some of the greatest AFC championship games we've ever seen, especially at Kansas City against my homeboy. 3 straight 3rd and 10 conversions.
Defense let him down, though.
Okay, but it was greatness personified. You got to watch greatness in the overtime. And then how about against Saxonville when they had the hottest defense in pro football and they come into New England and Brady had just slit his hand open in practice, or maybe it was a home accident, as you suggest.
Skip, well,
20 stitches in his hand.
If you don't mind me asking, who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback for Jacksonville? Was it Gabbert?
No,
Was it
Bortles.
Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
Okay.
Now, you said that Aaron Rodgers going up against Joe Webb, and he's going up against this guy and Kirk Cousins.
Okay,
Blake Bortles.
But he was up against Saxonville in the fourth quarter. They were down 20-10 early in the fourth quarter, and he's got 20 stitches in the palm of his throwing hand. And in the fourth quarter, he throws for 138 against Saxonville, 2 touchdowns, and brings them back to yet another Super Bowl.
I mean, we keep increasing these stitches because at first I thought it was 12 to match his number,
20.
and now we're up to 20.
Well,
okay.
we just had a book that came out in which the author wrote that it was 20 stitches in the base of his hand. Okay. You discount that. And even the coach discounted it. It was the beginning of the end of Tom Brady in New England because the coach dismissed it as not exactly open heart surgery.
So what we're going to do about these 5 games in which Aaron Rodgers' defense has given up 37 points and Brady in 41 has only given up 2 of those games, and one of them was in the Super Bowl.
All I know about Aaron Rodgers is I'm going to give you this. He's the flashier of the 2 quarterbacks. He's the more stylish thrower of the 2 quarterbacks. He's got a better arm than Brady. He's cooler. He acts cooler on and off the field. He's a bigger diva than Tom ever thought about being. I give you all that.
Are we sure about that?
That appeals to these ex-players who are like, he's just too cool, man. I love him. I'd be afraid to play him. But if you really look hard at the numbers, at what happened when Aaron Rodgers went to Tampa Bay earlier this year, what happened? He bolts out to a 10-0 lead, then he goes pick 6, near pick 6,
right,
and he folds. He just ducks and covers, and for the last 3 quarters of that game, he scores 0 points. And he did it again 2 weeks ago at Indy. They're up 28-14 at half, and all of a sudden they turn up the heat on him in the third quarter, and he just folds up, and they get a late field goal to force overtime.
So what are we going to do about them 3 fumbles? What are we going to do about all them turnovers? So that's Aaron Rodgers, the fumble. Basdale Scantling fumble. So that's Rodgers' fault.
Well, I'm just saying, he's had a history of this in big games.
Oh, he's had a history of fumbling in big games? Oh, okay.
Interceptions, poor play.
Oh, okay.
The Seattle championship game, remember that, at Seattle?
So the guy not fielding the onside kick, doing not what he was supposed to do. So that's Rodgers' fault.
But go look at the numbers that Aaron put up in that game.
Skip.
Go pull up the scathing criticism of Aaron Rodgers in all the Milwaukee newspapers after that game. Worst playoff game he ever played.
Was he healthy?
I don't know. He'd had a calf pull, I guess, or calf issue.
Thank you.
Yep.
So how many guys you think can play with a calf pull, regardless of the position?
I just don't know how you can defend this because the one guy, when you've won 6 rings with 6 game-winning drives, it's game over. It's off the charts. Then you can't tell me this player is better than that player because those don't happen because of the defense. Those happen because you took the football in the end and you drove it for the touchdown.
So that's what happened Sunday, right? So we can't blame Tampa's defense because that's what happened. Patrick Mahomes took the ball and kept it away from Tom Brady for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. I'm good. Well, that's all I wanted you to say. That's all I wanted you to say right there.
That's ridiculous. That's not a game-winning drive. That's playing keep away.
Oh, Skip. He played keep away. He put the ball in the end zone and gave them the ball back with 5 seconds.
He was so clutch in the second half, he threw for a grand total of 103.
He threw for more yards in a half than Tom Brady threw for in a game.
He sat back and had to watch the GOAT just lay it on him in the second half, 17-7.
Skip. Okay, Skip.
He watched Tom Brady pull off 2 75-yard drives in the fourth quarter to cut it to 27-24.
And guess where he came afterwards? Guess what he got to go? Hot air to go. That's what he got. We're dressed with all the sides, too, because I couldn't see him. You know, Governor Newsom has made it impossible for us to, he going to put me out of business. But you know what? I adapted. I do takeout now. You can get the L's to go. That's what Tom Brady did. I fixed him right on up.
I think it is appropriate that your restaurant only serves losses, right?
Yeah, Doug. I mean, I get with Doug occasionally. But your guy, guess who came by for Thanksgiving? That was before it went into order. Guess who came by? Oh, Jerry. I appreciate him, trusting me to have his Thanksgiving feast prepared for it.
Oh, it's so
as long
nice
as you had the bar open and lots of conviviality at the bar, Jerry will be right in the middle of that party.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No mercy.
The Seahawks beat the Eagles 23-17 in a game Seattle dominated for really most of the night. The Seahawks defense sacked Carson Wentz 6 times and held Philly to under 300 yards of total offense. And After all the rumors that we'd be seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts last night, the backup quarterback only ended up recording 2 official snaps as Philly once again rolled with Carson Wentz. Wentz did have 2 touchdowns, but he also threw a costly interception in the end zone in the 4th quarter. Now joined by Orlando Scandrick. Orlando, so you were in the locker room when you played for the Eagles. So I got to ask you, a couple years ago, you had that experience. In your opinion, is it time to bench Carson Wentz?
Well, I got to start my day off like I do, like I was raised. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. You come over here to gloat.
Yeah.
You come over here to gloat. I already know.
No. Hold on. So, about a year ago, I came on here, and I was called a hater. I was bitter. I was upset.
You were.
But I was truthful. You know what they say? They will forgive you for telling the lie, but they will hate you for the truth. But let's go back on topic. So, Wentz, I did a lot of research last night, and he's been awful. But the facts of it is, I'm going to give you from a business perspective first. He's guaranteed $25.4 million next year in the form of $15.4 million in salary, $10 million in a guaranteed roster bonus. From a business perspective, we can bench him. We can. He's been awful. He has 95 off-target completions, most in the NFL. He leads the NFL in sacks. He's been sacked 46 times. He leads the NFL in interceptions. He's thrown 15 interceptions, if my notes are right. Okay. Now, you can bench Wentz, fire Dougie P, but you still got the same little weasel snake picking the players. He's been god-awful. You say Wentz doesn't have any help. Well, how is he supposed to have help if we draft J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf?
True.
Then we go in the offseason and we say Wentz still doesn't have any help. And then we draft Jalen Hurts, a guy who was a punt returner. He was basically known for being a punt returner at TCU over
Jefferson.
What is his name? I'm sorry, Jefferson. I'm sorry, Jefferson. You're a hell of a player. I'm sorry. And I just think it's time to blow the whole thing up. Blow it all up. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Give him his Super Bowl ring. Give him all his little pats on the back and call him a nice Uber XL and get him on out of there.
And by the way, let's go ahead and name the GM he refers to. It's Howie Roseman. Just for the
little weasel.
All right, go ahead.
But so let me ask you a question. Back to the original topic. Should they bench walk it to him?
You could bench walk it to him, but it's not all walk it to him fault. Besides, he holds on to the ball too long, and he takes too many risks, and he obviously sees things that are not there by that last interception that he threw. But you got to look at the guy, the team. The team that's been assembled. Look at the team that Howie has put into place. It's awful. It is awful. It baffles me how Coach Reed gets fired from there, who was a great coach, Hall of Fame coach. How he gets demoted when Chip comes in, and somehow he weasels his way back to the top, and he's the GM again. And now, he did well. He assembled some pieces. They won a Super Bowl, but that's in the past. You told me when you get in the position of paying people for what they did 4 or 5 years ago, you're in bad shape, right?
Yeah, basically. I don't believe they should bench him, but there's enough blame to go around. Wentz is taking so many hits is that he's predetermining where he's going to throw the football because he knows those hits are coming. I watched their receivers last night. Oh, they can't get open. They can't get open. It's as simple as that.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside does not even dress. And DK Metcalf is tearing the league up.
Right. So they passed on guys like Metcalf. You passed on Jefferson to take Jalen Hurts. And your offensive line has gotten old and debilitated. And so now you put all that together. You got a quarterback that's, even when he has a clean pocket, Skip, he's not the most accurate. And I'm being nice. Okay, he's a very inaccurate quarterback with a strong arm. That's not something to be proud of. It's kind of like having the most air distance yards. I thought the job of the quarterback was to complete the pass. So when you look at his inaccuracy, you look at their offensive line inability to protect him. You look at Dougie P. refusal to run the football. When you combine all that together, you got a mess. You got a mess on your hand.
What people don't realize about Carson Wentz is that he's way more comfortable throwing to bigger bodies. That's why he throws to tight ends, because he's inaccurate. He's way more Skip, hold on 1 second. I got to acknowledge my man Skip. He is loving this. Skip is loving this, Skip. Me and you, we're happy that we're not committed over $30 million to a guy that throws to tight ends.
And one more thing, before I turn over to Skip.
Okay.
Skip, there were some situations last night. You can't have 30-yard pass interference. You got to put that ball on Goddard, and that's a touchdown. You had another one earlier, had Bobby Wagner beat early, and you underthrew it, and you allowed him to get back into play. It's plays like that. So when it's clean, you got to make them pay for making mistakes and leaving linebackers on your tight end that far down the field. And Wentz did not make them play. But when you get sacked 11 more times already than the next closest competitor, you're on pace to have the third most sacks in NFL history. We saw what it did to David Carr. It ruined it. He was never the same after his rookie year, Skip. And I'm afraid he's taken so many sacks, we might not ever see the best of what we thought Carson Wentz would be, which was his second year. You can't keep taking these shots and be strong. It's not going to happen.
Before I turn it over to my lovely elder Cowboys fan, Skip, I'm just going to say one thing. I came on here and I called it. And, you know, I was taught at a very young age, it doesn't catch up to you until it catches up to you. And now it's caught up to him. Go ahead, Mr. Skip Bayless.
So, to your point, as a Cowboy fan, I am loving this. I'm loving listening to this man try to defend a quarterback who is now indefensible.
I didn't defend him, though.
This time you didn't. To start the show, you tried. and you tried valiantly to try to save what's left of Carson Wentz. And my point here is, I hope they don't bench Wentz because I am the biggest Jalen Hurts fan. And I fear that Jalen Hurts, if inserted into the starting lineup, even where do they go on the road? They have to go to Green Bay. Okay, so that's hard, right? Against the guy you say should be the GOAT, or he plays better than the GOAT. Jalen Hurts has intangibles, leadership intangibles, playmaking intangibles, even accuracy intangibles that Carson Wentz does not have. I've never been a fan. I've been consistent in this opinion since 2016. Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz. He had his moment. He had his run with a loaded, hot football team in 2017, got all the way out here to Southern California to the Coliseum against the Rams, and he wrecked his knee. Sorry to hear that. Hate it for him. But what happened? A guy that Shannon has no respect for, Nick Foles, just stepped right in and took over, and off they went and won the Super Bowl. That's how talented that Howie Roseman team was. You got to give Howie credit for that team.
Yes.
I told you, even the trash can get a steak one time.
Okay, all right.
It's going to get a steak when your stomach is hurt.
He did that. Now,
he did
it scares me that they will go to Jalen Hurts because Carson wasn't born with that leadership gene. Somehow this team doesn't respond well to him. They try to muster it up. They try to say all the right things. But there was that big expose in the Philly Voice 2 off seasons ago in which nobody liked how he was responding to criticism, how he's handling himself.
How he carried himself in the locker room.
Correct. So the point is, he's a big, strapping young man, and what he does best right now, he just takes off and runs with it. And he will run with big courage because he'll try to run through your brick wall. But as a passer, he's lost his way. His touch, his poise, his feel, his rhythm, he's just completely out of whack. And to Orlando's points, he's just running away with all the negative categories in the NFL, starting with sacks, going to interceptions, fumbles lost. He's a mess. And they're a mess right now, and maybe they will clean house. Maybe it's about to cost Doug Peterson his job, but again, they got one saving grace to me, and that is Jalen Hurts. And albeit all I got is somebody who worked at Alabama, and he lost his job to Tua, but then he came back in and saved them in the fourth quarter of the Georgia SEC championship game. And then at Oklahoma last year, he carried a miserable defense all the way to the college football playoffs, and they got obviously blown out by LSU. But that's Jalen Hurts, and that's what he would do for this team. And why they had some cockamamie plan last night to try to alternate them, I don't know what it was happening. I don't know what they were doing. If, in fact, he split snaps with Carson Wentz last week 50-50, that's pathetic because that's unfair to Carson Wentz.
You know what it seems like to me, Skip? It seems like the reason why he didn't give Jalen Hurts more is that it got leaked that it was happening.
Maybe.
And so now all of a sudden, that ain't what we do. We're just doing our normal things. And so to save face, because it got out.
Yep. But there are also reports that ownership, up to Mr. Lurie, told Doug Peterson, if you want to bench him, bench him.
Right.
But Yeah, to Orlando's
That's not
final
the case,
point.
though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not the case. The case is Carson Wentz is guaranteed to be on that team next year. And is nobody going to write out checks for $1.5 million per week to see somebody hold a clipboard? So the only solution in this is you have Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts may be the answer. Clean house, get a new staff in, and let's see what Carson can do with a new staff before you just turn him off and before you just throw him away in the trash. He was the number 2 pick in the draft for a reason. You know, put somebody around him that's going to put him in situations that he's going to be successful. He's lost all
think about
talent,
this. Think about what do you know? What do we know about Carson Wentz at the highest level? Well, he played one playoff game against Seattle.
Right.
And he lasted like a minute, and he got hurt again.
Right.
And he threw 4 passes and completed 1 for 4 yards. I think 3 passes. 1 for 3 for 4 yards.
I believe
so
it.
you don't even know how he's going to play in a real big game.
Well,
it's really hard. It's really hard to find a franchise quarterback. And I'm not going to rush Jalen Hurts in there before I have to. And you and Shannon, you talk about Aaron Rodgers all the time. And Kip, you talk about Tom Brady. Neither one of those guys were rushed into action. It came to him. So for me, it's just like, don't rush. I don't want to rush Jalen Hurts into action, because I think that if you put him in right now and the O-line being bad and everything being, you know, all in kind of disarray, you don't want him to take too many hits, and you'll lose him like Carr, or you'll lose him like they've lost Wentz, or like Sam Darnold. So it's no need to rush him right now. I would get through this year. You know, you got to get rid of the top, because aren't you going to get some bad high draft picks? But you're going to get some more J.J. Arcega-Whitesides or more Jalen Reagors.
But here's the thing, this is what we know. If you don't give a quarterback, if you got a quarterback behind a bad offensive line and he doesn't have guys that can get open, there's a reason why Tom Brady is out of New England, because he didn't believe those weapons. And he went to where? He went to a place with maybe the exception of Kansas City. It's hard for you to say there's a team that has more weapons offensively than what they have in Tampa. Tom Brady ain't no dummy. Look at those receivers. Come on, man. There's not one receiver that's currently starting in Philly that can go anywhere else and start.
And then if you top it off to you're in a contract dispute with your tight end, with one of the top 5 tight ends in the league. So he's already been reported to have a verbal altercation with the Weasel. So
and he's in no rush to get him. If I got a contract squabble, you think I'm in a rush to get back to make me look bad with this quarterback?
So Orlando, last quick question before we let you go. Do our Cowboys have any shot to win this division?
You always got a shot unless when you go out and play on Sundays. But it depends. I mean, the Giants are playing well, but Daniel Jones is a little banged up.
Yeah.
Washington got a freaking tough stretch of schedule. And, you know, the Ravens have been hit hard with COVID. So hopefully
they'll be back.
Around.
They'll be back. They'll be back on Wednesday, bro. They'll be back.
Wishful thinking.
You thought so. LJ going to get right on y'all.
We got more of a shot than the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, but that's not saying much. Whoever can get to 6 wins will win this division. The first team to 6 wins win the division.
We might get to 7.
I bet you that don't happen.
Orlando, we appreciate your time. Always good to get your take.
No mercy.
Well, the Tampa Bay Bucs have lost 3 of their last 4 games, and more people are speculating that there's a disconnect between Tom Brady's skill set and Bruce Arians' offensive philosophy. However, a new report indicates that the offensive struggles start and end with the GOAT. Bruce Arians reportedly downplayed any idea of a rift, but told NFL Network, quote, Tom Brady picks all the plays now. We call what he picks. We just have to get better. So, Shannon, what is Bruce Arians saying here?
What Bruce Arians is saying, Skip, is that a lot of experienced quarterbacks have input in the game plan. Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, there's 100 plays. And Byron Leftwich, who's the offensive coordinator, BA, will say, Tom, give me the 60 or the 70 plays that you like. Tom raps right, you know, and they're all mapped off. Okay, Skip, you got first down, you got 1st and 10, you got 2nd and 5, you got 3rd and long, 3rd and 1 to 3, 3rd and 5 to 7, all that, Skip. You got red zone, you got certain areas of the field. Tom, give me the play, give me 60, 70 plays that you like. Okay, and they might be color coordinated. Now, I'm going to leave all 100 plays up there, Skip, but the plays that Tom liked might be a different color. They might be pink, they might be blue, they might be purple. But these are the plays Tom liked in these situations. So I'm calling plays according to what Tom has told me he liked. First down plays, second down play, third down plays, second and 1 to 3, third and 3 to 5, third and long, red zone, goal to go. So I'm calling the plays. Skip, this is not a criticism, but if you don't think Drew Brees, if you don't think Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers have this kind of input, you're fooling yourself. You ask a guy, what do you feel comfortable with? What would you like to, call in these situations? And so BS said, we're calling the plays according to what Tom told us he likes. But Skip, making it, and I'm a firm believer in this, and I said this all along, the question was, how would Brady perform having to throw the ball down the field an awful lot? But Skip, if you make this offense totally Tom Brady friendly, you take away what's really great about Mike Evans, what's about Chris Godwin. Skip, they're down the field guys. So if you have them running a lot of shallow crosses, a lot of, smoke routes and jailbreaks, Skip, that's not them. That's not who they are. So you're going to lose some of the big play potential of what you have in those guys. But I don't think BA is trying to dodge criticism. All he's saying is that, look, we're calling plays, the plays that Tom says he likes, and these need to do a better job of executing said plays. But it's not like, Skip, we're off script and the plays that we're calling, Tom doesn't know anything about.
Okay, so I look at this completely differently than you did because I think Bruce Arians just went 5 for 5. Wait, how many games? Yeah, they've lost 5 games. Am I right? Yeah. 5. He's 5 for 5 with what I would call scathing critiques of his GOAT quarterback after each loss. Each one designed to say, don't look at me. Don't blame me. Just, now we've given him the whole offense. Baloney, you gave him the whole offense. What does Tom Brady lead the league in, the stat you hate the most? Air distance. But what does that stat indicate to you? That he's trying to do what Bruce Arians believes in. He's trying to do it the Bruce Arians philosophical way, which is no risk it, no biscuit. I am trying to throw it long again and again and again. Right. He hit a couple the other day, should hit one more to Mike Evans, but he's in a slump for the previous 3 games where he couldn't hit anybody. He's 1 for 19 on 20-plus yard throws. Then the other day, he had 5 20-plus yard completions. The point is that it's still not his offense. He is selecting plays from Bruce Arians' play sheet.
Right.
Like he's saying, Bruce is saying, what do you like of these plays, Tom? Well, they're your plays, right? Well, I guess I like that one and that one. Oh, okay, we'll call those for you. But they're from your philosophy. Right. They're from your approach, it's not like, from my approach.
You go to someone's house and it's like, what would you like? Okay, I cook this, and this. What would you like?
Well, I don't really like any of it. Okay, I guess I'll take that, right? And maybe I'll just taste it, right? Okay, so what does Tom Brady love the most? He loves play action, but they don't run the ball with any consistency. And then I saw a great stat on one of them, I think it was Pro Football Focus had it, that they're still 50-50 run-pass on first down. And most teams are more, like Mahomes is 66% pass on first down because it's a league, as you know, that went to throw it first and then run it, right? Right. Because it's too predictable to run on first down, especially if it's not a creative, and it to Leonard Fournette on first down. It's probably going to go for a half a yard, right? So they are 28th in run success on first down, which shows you they keep it's second.
Well, you play behind the sticks.
Yeah, you just play behind the sticks, and it's hard, man. It's just hard. You're fighting an uphill statistical battle that you're probably not going to win.
Tom Brady was at his absolute best, Skip, when it was third and, say, 5 yards or less. Because now he can get the backs involved with the swing routes and the little check downs.
Okay. So play action only works when they fear the run. And this team, 28th in rushing, has not established much fear of the run at all. What does Tom Brady also love to do? He loves to set up and throw screen passes to James White, right? They don't throw. When's the last time you saw Tampa try a screen pass?
Right.
It's rare. Maybe one a game. I don't think they tried any against Kansas City. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but I don't remember a screen pass, right? Right. When do they use any motion in the offense? They just don't like it. Right. Bruce Arians doesn't believe in it. So this is completely misleading to tell Michael Silver, we just say, here, you pick it. And Again, the indication is that he's actually picking it at the line of scrimmage. Well, he's got options. He can change. He can audible, obviously, the way Peyton could. But you're still you're picking from this menu that you just talked about. It's the Bruce Arians menu.
Right.
And Tom, I don't care what you say about him. He is the proverbial coach's pet. He wants to do it the way you want to do it.
Right.
So if you tell him, Tom, this is the way I've seen it work. It worked with Peyton, and it worked with Big Ben, and it worked with Carson Palmer, and it worked with Andrew Luck. Wait a second. 3 of those guys were the first pick in the draft, and 1 guy should have been the first pick in the draft.
And what did all those guys get?
Yep.
They got hit a lot.
They got hit a lot.
Because you got to hold on to the ball,
and in their year with Bruce Arians, they threw a lot of picks because you're going to throw it up for grabs.
And Skip, when you're young, you can take hits like that. Think about when he had Big Ben early in his career as a rookie. He had Andrew Luck young in his career. He had Peyton Manning. 22-year-olds can recover a lot quicker from bumps and bruises than a 43-year-old.
Okay.
So you asking him to hold on to the ball to take the shots to the chop.
And he's taken more shots than anybody because the distance the ball travels, not the completion. It doesn't mean completions, just how far he throws the ball. He's running away with the NFL lead in air distance because he's going, no risk it, biscuit.
Well, I think the thing is that B.A. hears the criticism. He heard what some of Tom Brady's confidants and some other people say calling for his job, says if they miss the playoffs or they don't win, they get bounced in the playoff early, maybe they need to get rid of B.A. and bring someone into Tom Brady's liking that's going to let him do what he does. So he's like, hold on, wait a minute now. Y'all make it seem like we just calling willy-nilly plays here and Tom doesn't have any input. Yep. We're giving Tom input in this now. We're calling the plays that he said he likes.
Okay.
But Skip, if I go to In-N-Out, I ain't getting chicken tenders. Because they don't got it on the menu. Hey, I want chicken tenders. Nah, bro, this is all we got right here. You get a double-double, you get a single, or you get some onion rings, but you ain't getting no hot dogs here. Okay, well, Tom Brady's like, hold on, bro, I know. You're saying I have input, but it's you.
You still go to In-N-Out?
No, I haven't been. The line too long.
The line's too long?
Yeah. Did you see that line in Colorado Springs?
No.
12 hours.
No
For
way.
what?
Waiting for In-N-Out. That's the first one.
The first one in Colorado?
In Colorado.
Oh, I get that.
They waiting 12 hours. People running out of gas.
Sounded like you might drive to Colorado.
I wish I might. I ain't waiting 12 minutes.
So, last quick thought on this. This is classic to me, damning with faint praise, because he's also saying, we're getting close. We're very comfortable with each other, but it's all his choice. It's whatever he wants to do.
Well, I just think the thing is, Skip, they just need to get, it's the bye week.
Yeah.
Tom go in there and talk to Ben and say, look here, bro. You're doing too much talking.
I don't think Tom does that.
Well, he needs to Skip. I understand, Skip, but he's never been a coach has never put him in this situation.
Nope.
So sometimes when someone has done something that you've never had done to you,
that is true.
You must react in a way that you've never reacted before.
Yep.
Just go talk. B.A., bro, we in this together. If I don't succeed, you don't succeed. If you don't succeed, I don't succeed. So let's just hold hands, kumbaya, squeeze it. Look here, bro. Stop all that talking.
I hear you. True.
I don't think he's a kumbaya type of guy. I don't know if I've seen that from him.
No mercy.
In 4 days, it's the fight event of the fall as undefeated Errol Spence Jr. takes on Danny Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship. Available on pay-per-view or buy the fight on foxsports.com/PPV and watch on any screen you want. It's that easy, guys. Well, listen to this. Former President Barack Obama may be from Chicago, but he could end up jumping ship on Michael Jordan one day as the best basketball player ever. In an interview with Complex, Obama admitted that, quote, LeBron is making strides in the GOAT debate. His career is not over yet. We don't know how many more rings he might win. However, as of right now, Obama said he has to stick with MJ. Obama's a big basketball fan. So, Shannon, did Obama's comments close the case for Jordan here?
You heard what he said. You heard what folks say. That's what LeBron keep doing. Keep these four rings, and also for 44, because we knows how he feels about it.
Well, he just said Jordan's the GOAT.
Whoa. Talk about, Skip. Talk about. Look, we know President Obama is a Chicago guy. He's Chicago through and through. Bulls, Bears, White Sox. He loves that. Okay? Okay, fine. And we know for the most part, Skip, if you grew up in Chicago, Michael Jordan is God. Ain't nobody above Michael Jordan. And for a long time, Skip, Sammy Sosa had that same kind of mythical light because If you said when he was doing what he doing, Skip, in the late 90s, he was Babe Ruth.
I was there. I covered it.
He was Babe
For the
Ruth
Chicago Tribune. I
for
covered
Chicago.
the great home run race.
Exactly.
Yep.
So for me, Skip, look, President Obama says, for me, no, he's not there yet. But his career is still going. Now, I'm good. Whatever he does, this great. This gravy for me. I mean, ice and Skip. We already got like a 12-tier cake. So all he doing is just add more layers. He just getting unnecessary with it. I mean, I see him winning at least, at the bare minimum, Skip, 2 more rings. I see he gonna get
bare minimum.
At bare minimum.
Did we write that down? Yeah. We got that on tape,
Skip,
right?
Hold on.
Bare minimum.
Skip, I told you before. I told you before he even got there. I said we gonna get 2 rings in 4 years. Y'all know you tell you know, but we gonna get enough. We gonna get the repeat. And then we're going to, because we got to opt out next year. We're going to see what Rob does before we opt back in. And we might get Giannis and get 3 more rings. But anyway, he said that because LeBron is still building this castle, Skip. Because he's still building, Michael can add no more bricks to his castle. There's a chance that he believes that, LeBron can overtake him. Me, I don't need LeBron don't need to add no more paneling to the house, no more marble, hardwood floors. I'm straight where I am. You don't need no more appliances in this, Good. Stainless appliances, we good, Skip. I've seen enough. House is beautiful, spectacular. So for me, you know where I stand. But for President Obama to say that there's even a chance for someone to catch Michael Jordan, I mean, I think it tells you everything you need to know. But for you, it's done.
Well, I think the case just got closed by our former president, who was by far the most knowledgeable basketball president we have ever had, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
And I got it. Grew up Chicago. I got it. I got that he's got, once that city gets in your blood, there's nothing like. Any other city in this country does not compare once Chicago gets into your heart and your soul. Yeah. I get it. But he knows of what he speaks. He said, Jordan, when he was just, he was, here's the quote from Barack Obama, Michael Jordan was a sight to behold.
He was.
That's what he was.
You had to, Skip, like
Thank you very much.
You had to see it, though, Skip. The last dance, you had to see him play in person. You had to feel what surrounded him, that field, that force field around him, to appreciate what this man was. I've never seen it. I don't believe you'll ever see it again, Skip.
I don't either. Thank you. I think you're making the GOAT argument,
Skip, but
right?
Skip, he like a Skip. Everybody, but think about, Skip, what everybody has said, from KD to LeBron to Shaq. He's like a god. Skip, I'm talking about when the first time I saw him, I thought this man was levitating. I know he looking at me, looking at him. He's like, what's wrong with this little Sharpe dude looking at me like that? Because Skip, he doesn't seem real. He doesn't seem, I don't know how you felt when you were around him, because you covered this game and you've been around some GOAT, but not like this. And I've been around a lot of great players in football, basketball, a lot of great athletes, but nothing like him.
Acknowledging he's the GOAT?
No, Skip, see, there you go.
Well, you make the case and then you say, but LeBron's the GOAT.
No, Skip. I'm saying the aura around him and how you like, it's like he doesn't seem real. He doesn't seem, he's real because you carry on a conversation with him and you shake his hand and stuff, but he doesn't seem real. It's hard to explain. I can't explain it to people. I can't explain it.
Okay. I've tried to explain to you. Of anyone I've ever watched or covered, I'm talking about cold-blooded basketball killer. I'm talking about ultimate assassin on the basketball court versus a LeBron James, who to me is just a really nice guy and a great player. Got it all. Got some things Jordan didn't have. But one guy was just as mentally tough as ever there was in any sport. The highest level of clutch competitor ever. And LeBron has had weak moments where he failed. LeBron has had epic fails. And so for me, Barack says, okay, so he says he's making strides and the path is still open. And I think our former president is trying to be as politically correct as possible. But I don't see how the GOAT debate could reopen if LeBron, to your point, if he wins, what are you saying, 3 more rings?
I say he ends up at least tied with Jordan. At least.
All right, so he's tied, and he's 6-6. And don't forget, there's going to be real good if he gets back to finals, there's going to be chances he's going to lose.
There's going to be a chance he wins.
Okay, well, there will be. But again, he's already lost 6, and Jordan never lost 1.
But he ain't winning but the 6. We going to go to 12, 13.
You still, I don't get this, but it's a trait of the blind witnesses out there, and you are the Shannon Sharpe leader of the blind witnesses. But you want to expunge his record. You want to cleanse it and purge it and eradicate what's already happened.
Well, hold on, Skip. So if we're doing losses, Brady can't be the GOAT. Montana has to be.
Remember, we're talking about Michael Jeffrey Jordan here, and that's it. Period.
But you said you got to be undefeated in championship games.
Okay. Well, I didn't say that. I just said in this debate, Michael versus LeBron, we got 6-0 versus best case 6-6.
Yeah.
Okay. In worst case, we look at. Remember his last series in that conference semifinal against Boston before he took his talents to South Beach. What happened? He just melted down. It was horrendously bad. They lost games 4, 5, and 6. And then there were reports that, wait, LeBron had to be, what was it?
Sedated.
Sedated. I was going to say anesthetized, but sedated. Sedated before games because he was having an issue with a teammate in the locker. What? I'm not buying it.
Exactly, but you keep repeating, but you're not buying it.
Okay, but it's just silliness to me, and you're disqualified from the GOAT debate, and then you go to Miami, and you have the all-time superstar meltdown on the NBA Finals stage.
Oh, he melted down?
LeBron melted down. Go look at his numbers in games 4, 5, and 6. Here we go again with 4, 5, and 6.
Skip, I will give you the Dallas series was terrible.
It was just horrendous.
But if you look at what Boston did, they put the big 3 Celtics together to stop LeBron. They went out and got KG. They went out and got Ray Allen to stop GOAT James.
Okay, but they couldn't stop him in game 3 that night at Boston Garden. He annihilated them. I thought that was the best game LeBron's ever played, and they're up 2 games to 1.
But what do we say about a series? In a series, the best team will always win. Anybody can win 1 game, but a series...
And then we go to the Ray Allen shot that saved LeBron, who did melt down in the last 3 minutes.
Man, stop saying that. He did not.
He had 3 uncharacteristic, unforced error turnovers in the last 3 minutes.
But you won't,
2 in the last 1 minute.
But you won't say he almost outscored the entire San Antonio team by himself in the 4th. They scored 20. He scored 16.
All I know is he had the shot to tie it, and he LeBricked it.
Okay.
Long rebound out to Chris Bosh, kick to Ray Allen in the corner, boom.
Did Steve Kerr save Jordan's legacy?
No, because that was to win the game. That was to save the game.
Okay. What about Paxson? Did he save it? Did he save it?
He made a big shot. That wasn't even a setup shot. That just somebody else made a shot.
Okay.
It happens. There are
so
5
Ray
guys.
Allen made a shot.
Well, but I mean, he made the shot. If it lifts out, we're having a whole different conversation right now.
We remember. I mean, don't make it seem like Jordan scored 40 points in every single finals game because he didn't.
When did a Michael Jordan team ever get blown off the finals floor by a record finals margin by the San Antonio Spurs?
President Obama
that was
said,
2014.
President Obama said, James is undisputably one of the 2 best players ever. Now, he said that there is still a chance for me, but I'm saying I'm going to be president 52. Running 52. No, that's too long.
You're going to be number 52?
No, I'm going to be, we at 40, so this will be 46. I'm going to be 49.
49?
Yep.
Huh. This country could be in some...
No, don't do that, Skip.
Yeah.
Let me have my vote.
We've been in trouble, but now that could take it to a new level.
I already know I got 2 votes.
Yep.
Yours and Jenny's.
Really? You got 1.
Oh, I got 1.
Vote for you. Yes, we'll start there. I can at least say that. That would be fun. As long as I could be a part of the staff.
Yes.
I mean, I could do pretty well with the media, I'd like to think.
Yeah, you'll be my Kaylee McEnany.
Thank you. I'd be good at that. I appreciate it.
No mercy.
DK Metcalf caught 10 passes for a career-high 177 yards in Seattle's 23-17 victory last night. But his motivation came from an unlikely source. Metcalf told reporters that during pregame, Eagles defensive coordinator and former Lions head coach Jim Schwartz told him, "I was in Detroit with Megatron. You're not there yet." For his part, Schwartz told reporters that he was definitely just trying to compliment Metcalf, but the Seahawks receiver wasn't having any of it, tweeting out the classic MJ Last Dance meme, and I took that personally. So, Shannon, what do you make of this?
Well, Darius Slay wish Jim Schwartz would shut up because you ain't got to you didn't have to cover Megatron or DK Metcalf. And Skip, that's why you have to be careful. You see, Skip, sometimes you can try and pay a guy a compliment, but that's not how he receives it. He said, you don't think I'm as good as Megatron. Well, I'm gonna show you. What I believe Jim Schwartz said is that, look, I was the head coach in Detroit. I coached Megatron. And you're the closest thing I've seen. Size. Now, I don't think he's as gifted a natural catcher of the football like Megatron.
I agree.
Size, speed, yeah, he has all that. But as far as just naturally gifted at catching the football, no, I don't think he's there yet. Could he be? Sure. And he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, Skip, because he sees all the receivers that went in front of him and the teams that passed over him twice. Seattle passed over him once, but they didn't make that mistake a second time.
Did not.
So he's going to play with that chip a la Tom Brady. All those teams that passed over him over and over, and all those guys that went in front of him. So this is why you have to be careful, Skip. You try to give a guy a compliment. He takes it as you taking a shot at him saying he's not good, and then he takes it out on your football team.
Yep. So we just discussed Michael Jordan in our previous segment. And this comes across to me as Jordan-esque because the all-timer on exaggerating or even creating slights was Michael Jeffrey Jordan because he would just make them up. I've told you the story about John Calipari was coaching the
Nets,
New Jersey Nets at that point. Playoff game at New Jersey, and Jordan spent the whole game just torching it should be Perry, I think is how we say it, but Calipari. And he's pointing to him up the court. This is for you. This is for you. And I asked Michael after the game, what was that about? He said, I don't even know him. I just don't like the way he prances up and down. Okay? Well, you just made that one up. Well, this one, he didn't make it up. I think he leaped to a conclusion and exaggerated it because I think Jim Schwartz was attempting to pay him the ultimate compliment. You're on your way to becoming the greatest receiver I ever saw, Megatron, right?
And that's the thing, though, Skip, but if he thinks he's better than Megatron right now, he out of his mind. Well, you can take this as a slight, bro. You're not better than Megatron right now.
Well, that's the truth. He's not.
Yes.
Because I even looked at the numbers, because Megatron had that 1 year in 2012. He almost caught 2,000 yards worth of passes, 1964. That's the record.
Yes.
Okay, so right now, DK's at 1,039 yards. And if you play out his yards per game, 95 per game, he's going to get to 1,500. Well, so he's not even going to get in the ballpark of that number.
Yeah.
But he's still really, really good.
Right, and you're only in your second year. Bruh, you can't, look, and I get it. Skip, I'm not here to tell him what he should, whatever he wants to use as motivation. If someone's trying to pay you a compliment and you take it as a slight, it's going to get you to that place where you can go and ball out, have at it. But, bro, every time somebody says something to you, they're not trying to slight you.
Yep. So back to your original point, Jim Schwartz has some Bruce Arians in him because he's got a big ego, and he had some moments of success as the head coach in Detroit, and then it completely flamed out. But he can be a little nutty sometimes and go a little crazy and lose his mind. Well, you're losing your mind when you dare to approach the star receiver on the other team and talk to him at all before the game. It gets you nowhere.
Just tell him, say, hey, son, you're a hell of a player.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, you got a bright future in this league. That's normally what happens, Skip. I mean, you're like, hey, son, you got a heck of a season going on. You're a heck of a player.
Yeah.
Continue success and keep it going. Don't offer no comparisons between, this or that. No. Because more times than not, DK Metcalf is not the only guy. Most guys will take that as a slight.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I mean, now, Aaron Donald, I don't think he'll say, well, man, I see a lot of Warren Sapp and a lot of Johnny Randall in you. Well, that was the first thing that I saw him. I say, he reminds me of John Randall with the way he plays with his hands. He's undersized. He's smallish. He's not the typical 300-pounder big guy. But he might say, well, so you don't think I'm better than John Randall and Warren Sapp? I mean, you talk about two guys that's in the Hall of Fame, two of the premier defensive tackles on
not
football.
A coach on a team about to play his team, right?
So, like I said, DK took it as a slight. I just think the thing is, Skip, because he went in the second round, he's like, man, look at this. I'm 6'3", I'm 240, I run 4'3", and can't nobody use this in the first round? Can't nobody use this at the top of the second round?
Yep. Well, and J.J. Arthega-Whiteside went in the
second round. He went before him.
But he went But 7 slots
Yeah.
before me? Yeah, 7 before. And last year, in his rookie year, he caught 169 yards total worth of passes.
That man caught 177
He was
last night.
177 last night, and that was for you, JJ.
And that's
Right?
But Skip, if you're trying to get Carson Wentz, but think about what Andy did for Mahomes. He had Tyreek. He go get Mecole Hardman. He had a running back. He go Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
He just tried to add weapons, and I'm gonna give him more
By
weapons.
the way, Mecole went before DK went
Yeah.
also in the second round.
Right.
So just for those who have lost track, Hollywood Brown goes in the first round at 25. Then N'Keal Harry goes at 32, late first round. Then here comes Debo.
I like
work.
Debo Samuel.
So do I.
Right.
I love him. And I love A.J. Brown.
Right.
He is starting to dominate, right?
Didn't they play at the same school? Did they both play at Ole Miss?
Yep, they did. That's something. How did they not win more games?
Exactly.
Then Mecole at 56, J.J. went at 57, Paris Campbell went at 59, Andy Isabella went to the Cardinals at 62. He can fly, but come on, seriously?
Skip me. What about I think sometimes that neck injury. You remember he had that neck injury, and I think that
DK.
DK Metcalf, and I think that might have scared some people off.
Was that? So he's the last pick in the second round,
Right.
number 64. What also scared people off was, despite all of his just immense ability and his stature, he would drop big balls in big
And he
games.
still-
He dropped one last night in the
right.
end zone. It was like his easiest catch of the night, and he just muffed it.
Remember the Arizona one? That Russ threw him and hit him in his face
It was
mask.
a face mask.
So-
Okay, that's that guy.
Right.
So that's why what Jim Schwartz said was true.
He gonna have a few drops. Skip,
Yep.
people don't realize Jerry dropped a lot of balls his rookie year. His first couple, Jerry would drop
Lord,
the
I
ball.
was there one day when he dropped one against the Giants in a playoff game. He just dropped a touchdown.
And then all of a sudden he dropped nothing.
Yeah, because they got blown off the field.
They got the doors blown off of that. And I think that was 86, if I'm not mistaken. And because the Giants went on to win the
They went
Super
on
Bowl
to
that
win
year.
the
They beat
Super
the
Bowl.
brakes off the Broncos.
And it seemed like the score of that game was like 55-3.
But DK got a promising career.
He does.
He's in a great situation. With the exception of Skip, who else could have? Well, obviously, you didn't know you were going to get Kyler Murray. But he's in the only situation that would have been better for him had he gone to Kansas City with Mahomes.
Yep.
Because Mahomes was already there. But he's in the second best situation that he could have gone to.
Well, Andy Reid and Brett Veach had their shot.
Right. Sometimes,
take
Skip, it's not how you go, it's where you go.
Yep.
And he went to the perfect
He
situation.
did. He's in a great spot.
No mercy.
Sunday, the NFC South leading Saints take on the Falcons, or the Giants battle Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. After being a trendy Super Bowl pick earlier this year, the odds at Fox Bet Sportsbook now show the Bucs only have the 6th best chances to win the Lombardi Trophy, barely ahead of teams like the Rams and Titans. Tampa has lost 3 of their last 4 games, but still find themselves in the mix for one of the NFC's 3 wildcard spots this season. So, Shannon, do the Bucs make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they do. They're currently in the 6th spot, Skip. I mean, there's an extra spot that's being created by the NFL. And who knows if this pandemic that we're in, if it keeps going, the NFL has already said they might have, an eight team into the mix. And if you look at their schedule, Skip, they're on the bye this week, and then they get Minnesota at home, at Atlanta, at Detroit, and then they get Atlanta at home. So their schedule is the 3rd easiest of the remaining schedules to be played. And I think the thing is, Skip, is that because if they were in the AFC and you got the behemoth, the Steelers, what we believe in Kansas City, I think those odds would be even lower. But because think about it, Drew Brees, is he going to come back? Do we really believe that Taysom Hill can run the gauntlet? That defense is going to have to even play better than what it's been playing in order for that to happen. Aaron Rodgers, they have some issues in Green Bay that teams can take advantage of. You can run the football against the Packers, and sometimes their pass rush doesn't show up. So being the 6th, that's not bad. I mean, there's 32 teams. There's going to be, 14 teams that make the playoffs. And so you have, slightly above average of those guys that's in there to win the Lombardi Trophy. So I like where they're sitting. Only you thought they would be 14-2 or 13-3 or something that most people thought, okay, yeah, they're a playoff team. But 10-6, 11-5. 11-5 would be the upper end, and I think the bottom tier would probably be 10-6, 9-7. And they're right where a lot of people thought they would be, except you.
Except me. I did pick this team to win the NFC and get to a home Tampa Bay Super Bowl game. But I told you yesterday, I dangerously overrated the defense. I think Brady is playing exactly the way I thought Brady would play. I did not know he was going to try to force Antonio Brown into this mix in midstream.
Yeah, we thought we were done with that.
I'm not sure how that's going to play out because he barely got his
But AB doing it right. AB is playing it right. AB, keep your mouth closed because don't let them scapegoat you. Because what's going to happen if you say you need more balls, they're going to say that's why Tom Brady and the offense haven't played well. AB is the distraction. AB, keep your mouth shut. Don't let them scapegoat you on this one.
Okay, so I'm not going to back off my prediction that they at least make the playoffs. But I will tell you up front, I am shaky on them making the playoffs because of one team that has taken off very quietly, whose record is reflecting third easiest schedule because the Atlanta Falcons went 0-5 under Dan Quinn. They are now 4-2 since Raheem Morris took over. And I remind you, once upon a time, Raheem Morris was the Tampa coach in 2010. They went 10-6, right? 10-6. That was with Josh Freeman. They had one great year, then they went 4-12 the next year, and he got fired. But he can light fires, and he has lit one here because...
They play a little better defensively.
I would say so. And Matt Ryan, according to Pro Football Focus, over this stretch with Raheem Morris is the fourth highest-rated quarterback over the 4-2 stretch. And what did they just do to the Las Vegas Raiders?
I did not see that coming.
43-6?
Well,
43-6?
Derek Carr had his worst game. He picked the worst time to have his worst game. But, Skip, let me ask you a question. When you say you overrated their defense, I think you overrated them after that performance against Green Bay because I had been telling you earlier, I said, Skip, I see some things.
You said it. Okay, so they got to 6-2, and I'm thinking, man, this could be the best defense in pro football. And all of a sudden, over the last 4 games here, 4 games,
They've been awful.
They are 26th over this stretch in points allowed. They are 31st in passing yards allowed. Now, think about that. Over a 4-game stretch, the defense I thought was best is one step from worst overall, 31st worst on allowing pass yards because I told you, Drew Brees just went up and down the field against them. Jared Goff, who's close to losing his job with the Rams, went up and down the field and picked them to pieces for a grand total of 413 total yards.
And then he stunk it up yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. He's close to losing his job.
Yeah.
And at Miami before this game, he had 4 turnovers in the first half. So he's turning into a basket case. And yet, against this defense, they turned him into Dan Marino, right? Okay? So what am I supposed to do with a defense I can't trust anymore?
Yeah, you can't be that inconsistent because here's the thing, Skip. Once you get to the playoffs, but they might catch a break, Skip, because think about what they might do. They might end up getting the NFC East. They might play because they're going to be a wild card.
I'm just talking about getting there. Then I'm good. I'm good after that because they're going to go on the road, and I actually like this team better away from Tampa Bay than I like it at home. You're
going to play teams that can light you up offensively. The question is, Skip, can their team defense because I believe if Green Bay get a second chance around, Green Bay will play better, and they will not hold them to 10 points. Seattle can light you up. The question is, can Seattle's defense hold up against Tampa Bay's offense?
Okay. The one thing I love about this Tampa Bay defense is they have forced 20 turnovers, which is second best in the NFL. So we got that going for us at this point where even against Mahomes.
That saved you.
Okay. It did. It kept us in the game.
It about to be 24-0.
It was, and you got that right. And then obviously there were 2 interceptions that got nullified by penalties. So at least they're getting their hands on the ball in ways Dallas never gets their hands on.
But I think also, Skip, is that they were pretty good in the red zone because they kept Mahomes out of the end zone in the red zone.
Okay,
and
I'll give them that.
But what happens when the team don't need to get in the red zone and they throw it 75 yards, they throw a 50-yard touchdown to get you?
I got it. But that was strategic stupidity. Because what are you doing, putting Carlton Davis solo coverage on that guy?
I mean, look, Carlton Davis ran that kickoff back against Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
He did.
That's your guy. That's his claim to fame. That was his claim to fame until Sunday.
We got 2 Auburn corners because Jamel Dean was the other one. He was out with a concussion, and he can fly. Yeah. Okay.
He can't fly like Tyreek, though.
Nope, he can't. Nobody can fly like Tyreek. So I look at this schedule, and I say, Minnesota comes after the bye. Can they beat them? Well,
You got
probably
Minnesota.
because the one thing this defense has done great, it's number one against the run because everybody's throwing on it.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
But can they contain Dalvin Cook? Probably they can contain him, in part because of those two linebackers who are just flat out studs.
Right.
And they can run with Dalvin.
Yes.
Okay. So then at Falcons, I'm shaky on it. I just don't know, because when it's a division rival game and you got Matt Ryan on your side and all of a sudden you've gotten hot.
You might
with the
catch
new
a break
coach.
because they might be without Julio.
Well, maybe, but I think, boy,
But they got some receivers. I mean,
Hey.
but if you get Julio back to pair him with Calvin Ridley and Zacharias and Gage and some of those guys.
So then at Detroit, I'm going to give them the
you got
W
Detroit.
because I don't want to jinx it. But then the home finale is against the Falcons again. Well, they don't like Tampa Bay. Raheem Morris doesn't like Tampa Bay, so they're going to be inspired to get even for their new head coach. Maybe they're going to try to make a case he should be more than the interim head coach. And I don't know. I would like to think they could win 3 out of 4 games, that they would lose at Atlanta, but beat Atlanta and get some revenge in the home finale. What if Atlanta wins both games? Then they're going to
I don't know about all that, Skip. I mean, I think you might be overvaluing a little bit Atlanta a little more than I am. At worst case scenario, let's split. I can see Tampa sweeping them.
Can you?
Yeah.
4-2 in their last 6 games. Not bad.
Skip, I mean, the only team that they beat that you're surprised by is who?
43-6.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. Hope you're right.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers is actually getting some help as the Packers agreed to terms with return man and gadget receiver Tavon Austin for the playoff push. Austin spent his 7-year career with the Rams and Cowboys, but has not played this season, and the Packers are hoping that he can add an element of speed to Rodgers' offense. So, Shannon, is this a big deal or no big deal?
This is nothing. This is a big fat nothing. A big fat nothing Whopper burger. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Skip, baby.
I haven't said a word.
Yeah, first of all, he got 21 catches in 21 games in 2 years for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
How's that?
that's their fault,
And what was
not his.
Okay, what did he do with the Rams? Absolutely nothing. Skip, his claim to fame, you remember that game against your team, Oklahoma. He ran for 344.
I was there.
Went to the
watched.
combine and ran 4.32.
Yeah, I loved him coming out of college. I loved him coming to Dallas. You should love him going to Green Bay, but the Cowboy coaches never loved him. I don't know why. And then he got in the game at Philly late last year. Do you remember this? And ran right by, if we could see it, Russell Douglas.
Skip?
This is the play of the year, and Dak missed him by 5 yards.
Carson Wentz would have completed
That's to tie the game if they go for
Carson
2.
Wentz would have completed
Oh,
that.
really? I don't think so. And this is what he can do for Aaron Rodgers, except I think Aaron could complete that ball, right?
Skip.
Come on.
Skip, he's a gadget guy. Nobody runs more jet sweeps than the Rams, and they couldn't find a spot for him when McVay got there.
The only reason Tavon got in that game is because they benched Amari because he was running half-hearted routes.
Shannon, you mentioned a lot of food all show today, so go get something to eat. All right, that is it for Undisputed. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.